As the illegal immigrant crisis in New York City continues, with asylum seekers flooding the city, Mayor Eric Adams has repeatedly blasted the Biden administration for not doing enough to help. The city is overrun with parks, schools, playing fields and shelters are filled. Federal officials, however, have argued that Adams is at fault, accusing him of not having a plan beyond simply putting people in temporary shelters and letting the chips fall where they may. Biden has left the border basically open, and admits anyone to the U.S. who claims to be an asylum seeker. Court dates for those border crossers are more than 5 years into the future. As NBC News reports, the Department of Homeland Security sent an assessment team to New York in August to check in and see how local authorities were handling the unprecedented influx of illegal migrants making their way into the city. While the results from their investigation have not been released, a senior DHS official told the outlet that Adams' response was inadequate. New York is a sanctuary city with a right to shelter law in place, meaning that the city must provide shelter to those who seek it. The city has rented entire hotel buildings, such as the Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, and filled the buildings with Biden's border crossers. It's not an operationally sound effort, the Biden DHS official said, slamming the mayor for having no exit strategy. On Monday, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas announced that the assessment team had made significant recommendations, and that the department was now executing on those recommendations in close partnership with the city. Mayorkas did not promise funding in order to assist in the enactment of these recommendations. The recommendations include improving information collection at shelters to determine who is and isn't eligible to work, as well as providing migrants with resources that would allow them to exit the shelter system on their own. Citing the unparalleled amount of migrants who have entered New York over the past year and a half, City Hall spokesperson Kayla Mamalak argued that local officials cannot continue to work to solve a national crisis that the federal government has refused to take meaningful action on. We have opened more than 200 emergency shelters, have spent more than $2 billion to date, and expect to spend $5 billion this fiscal year alone without substantial aid from our state and federal partners, she continued, stating that New York City has far passed its breaking point. Adams himself recently said that the crisis will eventually destroy New York.